Hi guys. So our video for today is for lesson 4-6. This is a lesson that's not in the text materials. It's a supplemental lesson, but you see a lot of questions like this on the Regents exam. So our learning target today is to evaluate sequences written in function notation. F of n, and that's exactly how you say it, is representing any term in the sequence. F of n minus 1 is the previous term in the sequence, so the term before. F of n plus 1 means the next term in the sequence. If you see f of 5, it means the fifth term in the sequence, so the term number will be in the parentheses. These functions are going to be recursive, but may not be arithmetic or geometric. Remember that recursive means we use the previous term to find the next term. Okay? So let's interpret what it's going to look like. Okay? It's going to look like f of n equals f of n minus 1 plus 5. Let's look at this first one and interpret it. So f of n means next term, or whatever term, the next term. F of n minus 1, it looks like you're going to distribute, but you're not distributing anything. This is notation. Remember that all of those symbols together mean previous term. That is not something I'm going to distribute or sub in or anything like that, okay? I'm not going to sub in a number for n, I should say. So f of n minus 1 is notation that sticks together, and I'll show you how on the next screen. And then plus 5 means to add 5. So if you saw this sequence recursive formula, you would say, all right, I would get the next term by taking the previous term and adding 5. Let's look at the next row down. So here again, I'm going to start with the F, and I'm going to highlight in pink all of the parts that we're really not going to do anything with. Okay, we're going to, on the next screen, you're going to see me take all of that notation out and sub in a value. So F of n still means next term. This side means multiply the previous term by 3. I'm going to multiply 3 times the previous term and then subtract 2. 3 times the previous term, subtract 2. Now, for whatever reason, sometimes they express next term as n plus 1, and then previous term becomes n. So f of n plus 1 is still next term. F of n is the current term. I guess if you want to say it in a different way, instead of previous term, it's the current term. Multiply the current term by -2 and then add 4. So that in words is how you would interpret the function and what it wants you to do. Okay. Writing a sequence from function notation. So first we're going to interpret the sequences, which is what we just did. So this sequence is saying f of n equals the previous term plus 5. Okay? Make a table of values. That's going to help you find other terms in the sequence. So it says f of 0 equals 6. So in the chart, the term number goes on the left-hand side under n, and f of n, which is the value of the term, is the first term in the sequence. Okay? Now, I'm going to take and find my next group of terms by taking the pink part out, and putting just plus fives. Just plus fives. Okay, and in this space, I'm replacing all of this notation with the previous term. So if my first term is 6, I'm going to use the 6 here. Okay, 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay, so 11 is the next term in the sequence, and I'm going to now plug 11 in. So I'm going to plug in 11. 11 plus 5 is 16. So I'm going to put 16 for my next term, and I'm going to plug that in. 16 plus 5 is 21. That's my next term in the sequence, and I'm going to plug it in. 21 plus 5 is 26. Let's do this again. I'm going to use my highlighter, and I'm going to find where the F starts and n-1 ends. Okay, so everything that's pink is going to go away. This function is, the sequence is 3 multiplied by the previous term, subtract 2. 3 multiply the previous term, subtract 2. So my first term is 5. Okay, so if I'm filling in the rest of the table, finding the rest of the values in my sequence. Okay, so I'm going to copy out, I'm going to keep the 3, I'm going to replace all the pink with parentheses that I will fill in with previous terms, and I brought down my subtract 2. So I took all of this out, all of what is pink out, and I replaced it with a space to sub in my previous term. So my first term is 5. To get the next term, I will plug in 5 and put that in my calculator. 3 times 5 is 15, minus 2 is 13. So that's my next term, and I'm going to plug it in. 3 times 13 is, excuse me, 39, minus 2 is 37. Then I'm going to plug in 37. 3 times 37 minus 2 is 109. Plug in 109. 3 times 109 minus 2, so my last term is 325. Okay, there's a calculator hack that you can use to do this as well. So if I turn on my calculator, okay, I'm going to do 3 parentheses 5 minus 2 and get an answer. Okay, there's my 13. Now I'm going to do 3 parentheses, make this a little bit bigger. If you go into the catalog, so second catalog, and you go down to ANS right here. Okay, the arrow is next to it, ANS. What you're telling the calculator is, hey, use my previous answer in this spot. So I hit enter, close my parenthesis, subtract 2. hit enter. It subbed the 13 in for ANS. Now here's where it gets cool. If I hit enter again, it subbed the 37 in because that's the ANS. It just takes the previous answer and subs it in. And subs it in. I could keep hitting enter. Now, is it required that you use this hack? Absolutely not. But I just thought it was worth showing. Okay, one more example. We have f of the next term is going to equal, here's like that weird notation, equals the current term times -2. So -2 times the current term plus 4. So if my first term is 3, it means I'm going to sub in 3 where the parentheses were. I took out all of the pink stuff and I put in parentheses and then I subbed in. So -2 times 3 plus 4 is -2. That becomes my next term. And it's going to be what I sub in. -2 times -2 is a positive 4 plus 4 is 8. That's my next term in the sequence. And it's what I'm going to plug in the next one. -2 times 8 is -16. -16 plus 4 is -12. It's my next term, and it's what I'm going to plug in. -2 times -12 is positive 24, plus 4 more is 28. And that finishes off this lesson. Thanks. Have a great day.